A amazing race at Oswego did last week, which saw a couple of car battle between Stapleton and Kasumi Takashi, and it ended up being Takashi getting the first win on the channel. Today starts race number 3 and the third different track type so far in season number 2. And we are at Watkins Glen International for the one and only road course race on the season. It is a windy day here, and we'll see if how that affects these draws for 8 laps around one of the best road courses on NR2003. It's the Herr's Forever Good 100 at the Glen. What's up, everyone? It's your boy Amsoil 97, aka Nathan Stapleton, and welcome back to the Amsoil ARCA Series. And we're in for a show. 8 laps at Watkins Glen. The only time that these drives will be on a road course this season, and it's going to be interesting of how this plays out. We've been to a super speedway, a dirt track, and now a road course. The points are really tight still, but starting to see some favorites work their way up to the top of the standings. So we'll see of how that shades out. I'm not alone for this one. I'm joined by Eddie Debs for the first time ever on the channel. Welcome to the booth and welcome to Watkins Glen.
Thanks, Nathan. Really looking forward to what I imagine will be, I mean, you said it, windy day in New York, so this race is going to be much more different than any of the other Watkins Glen races I've called or seen of recent memory, so might be a more interesting day than I expected walking into this booth today.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. Last year for the ARCA race definitely surprised me and Andrew in the booth last year. The racing was way more intense than what we were initially expecting, and we'll see if that plays into a factor. Like I said, with the wind, it is 70 degrees, a nice cool fall day, but it is 26 to 30 mile an hour wind gusts here, so we'll see how the wind affects these draws on some of these corners here today, but let's see what ends up happening. Ron Kennington does start on a pole. He had a rough shootout week last week, unfortunately. He wants to bounce back, and he did get, I believe, a top 3 at Daytona. Let's see if he can get the job done. With the crazy wind, how do you think this is going to shake out for these ARCA drivers?
I mean, I don't know it's going to shake out. I just know that some drivers are going to maybe be more prepared in these cars for the wind, or at least more prepared for any adverse conditions, especially those in their second years in the cars. While a couple of these other guys, you know, it might not be as attuned to the cars, and especially in, I mean, on 30-degree winds, especially in some of the portions of this track, or up a hill, so those things could really get, I mean, pushed all over the place by whatever gust ends up coming around. So in the end, I really just think it's going to come down to who's got the experience in the car. It might not come down to skill. It might just come down to, you know, who's feeling it today, I guess would be the best one. So good vibes.
Oh yeah, I think some of the more experienced drivers on my channel and then as a whole, like Sam Dio, Juan Garcia, Stapleton, just to name a few, might have some of the edge over the rest of the field with the extreme wind conditions. But since this is such a long road course, especially with the boot, let's go ahead and get these 24 cars rolling off, and we'll talk about the point standings after the first 2 races of Season 2 of the ARCA Series. And so far, the defending champion of Stapleton has started on the right foot. 2 top 5s through the first 2 races, and he has a 1-point lead over Jordan Stout, the Truck Series champion most recently, and so second here today, so that's not great for Stapleton. Zachary Fitzgerald is still in points -4, tied for Ms. Kasumi Takashi, last week's winner, also -4. Bruno Diacomo is in 5th, -8. Juan Garcia is tied for 5th, also -8. Cost Sustry and Wani are tied for the 7th position, -10. Ron Kennington is in 9th, -11. And Jack Oz rounds out the top 10 in points, -13. Still very tight early on, but definitely seeing some drivers nobly up towards the front of the standings. And speaking of up front, we have Ron Kennington on the pole, and alongside is Jordan Stout in 2nd. And then mode number 2, we got Chase Harris, who's had a rough start in his ARCA season, but trying to change that here today, unable alongside. Rolling number 3, we got Ben Watson and Matthew Burnett. Rolling number 4, we got Zachary Fitzgerald and the all-time wins leader of Juan Garcia. And running out the top 10 here today is, Mr. Edge, Nicholas Amadeo, and Bruno Giacomo in the number 3 machine. Make sure that everyone is still rolling. It looks like that is the case. And unfortunately, I mentioned that Tampon is not in a great spot. Well, that is because I shouldn't say that, he's just outside the top 10. But Eddie, it's a long road course, but not a lot of laps. Only 8 laps here today. Who do you think will win the Pose 100?
Man, at this point, you gotta go with Jordan Stout being that far up. I feel like, if you want to pull away, you take any opportunity you can get. Starting on the front row at a road course is definitely an opportunity you cannot let slide, even this early in the season. So I believe Stout's going to prove himself today and get himself a good win to put him up with 3 top 10s to start the season.
Not a bad pit. Truck Series champion and always in second in the standings here in ARCA. And we'll see what happens here today. The host Forever Good 100 is green. We are racing for 8 laps around Watkins Glen International. And we almost reckon in the back already. But we are green at Watkins Glen. Kennington with a great start, but there's the typical turn 1 problems. And Jordan Stout jumps up to the early lead and unable in second. And we'll see what ends up happening with the wins and everything in between. Not always a good sign of them wrecking in the back early on. How about Burnett all the way up to the 3rd position, and Chase Harris and Fitzy bowing for the 6th spot. But down the back for the first time, able to get the draft. And it will be Jordan Stout lean at the time being, but with a hard charging Unable in second.
Say hard charging, but it looks like that 55 car, Matthew Burnett, he looked like he had a shot to the inside. He didn't take it. You got to think what this might do to, Tanner Parton right now, because he starts 11th, which means he was on that lane that just completely died out to start this race. It was probably not looking too good for him to start the race. Can't really see where he is back there, but Jordan Stout's got a good lead, so we'll just have to see how that works out the rest of this race.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, Jordan Stout can easily hang on and get this race win, as they might be fanning out the 3 wide in the back. Crazy start already here at the Glen. And we are getting close to the 12th spot on this racetrack, or one of many, but the most well known, and that is that final turn 11. And with the crazy wins, we'll see how much of an impact that is. But Burnett is going to try and take second, goes wide. Abel is going to bounce back, and here we go, final corner, and Abel's going to keep it for now. And looks like these guys will keep it straight. On lap number 1, Stout will lead lap 1 and give a crucial bonus point towards the championship.
That was already enough just to lead a lap, I guess, for Jordan Stout, because at least, we can't say what the live standings are right now, but that puts him at least tied with Parton just in terms of points he has earned. That'll go to him, whatever. With Abel and 55 car Matthew Burnett, those are 2 guys who, they kind of need a good race here, so you'd imagine they'd be a bit less aggressive, but a fight's a fight, and if you're gonna go for a top 3, you might as well fight for every position you get, albeit I think that 69 car, yeah, Kennington's moved back up to 4th. Ooh, there's the 8 car. Tanner Parton has moved up the field a little bit. Well, I say moved up the field, he's still sitting in 11th, so he hasn't really dropped out much, but he's still getting ahead. Randorani right in front of him. He's probably going to want to get past him for another top 10. That 69 car is looking a little close to the job, and he was close because he just moved inside on Matthew Burnett trying to take 3rd. Maybe Kennington did have a fast car and just a horrible start, but we're just going to have to see what he can get through on these last couple of turns.
Kennington with a good start on lap number 2. No pit stops here today, so that's going to be important to have a decent start. Starting on the inside lane, not really want at the Glen in turn 1 especially, but 25 back and able to chase down Jordan Stout. I do believe that Juan Garcia dropped out of the top 10, and I think Unable is, or not Unable, Tampon is inside the top 10. That's not good for Unable. Now I say Unable hits the turn 11 wall, and now it's going to be Burnett, Abel, and Kennington battling for the 2nd place spot. And Jordan Stout loves the way he sees. He's going to have almost a 1.5 second lead.
You were right about that. Juan Garcia did drop out. That 20 car is not in the top 10, and the 8 car is now. So Tanner Parton has put himself in the top 10. Obviously not going to be enough when trying to fight for the title, and the other guy's in first. I mean, otherwise, you look at the top of that, and we talk about Zachary Fitzwater in the 57 car. He's just in 7th, so realistically, these guys are still going to pull away, and then you have someone like Takashi sitting, I mean, 68 car's not sitting in the top 10 as of right now. They could be, but ooh, boy, well, what I say about passing Durrani, he's going to try and get by him. He might try and get by Bruno Giacomo as well. That's another guy. He's in the top 5, too. With Takashi out, I mean, these are 4 guys who are putting themselves up in the front in terms of just the contention for ARCA championship at the end of the season, just to start in the first 3 races. But Jordan Stout is pulling away. I mean, you can't say he's got a corner, but he's got at least half of one on that. Oh yeah, 27 car still keeping it in front, Aaron Abel, despite whatever damage he might have suffered. This might just be Jordan Stout just trying to hope that no one gets a good run and that he just has some good air. With these guys forming up in the train, they might catch him sooner rather than later. That is, unless 69 looked like he was aiming for that left quarter panel. He did not go for it. It's going to be the trouble spot. We're going to have to see. Stout might need to make a mistake for anyone to get a chance at it. These guys are running very different lines, and the 27 goes wide again. Oh no! He runs right into the side of Burnett. Burnett's going to probably take second here. He's going to, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but he might pull the 69 with him. The 69, wow. 55 cleared him before the corner, and the 69 is going to now be on 3 wide. What are you doing, Samadeo?
Oh man, Watkins Glen. Oh, tough play for Aaron Abel. Not what he wanted to see, and I will see Burnett can close in. We're not even halfway through. This time 5 we will be, but we still have 4.5 laps essentially to go still. We'll see if Burnett can close in on Jordan Stout. It's a 2-second lead. Abel in 3rd, Kennington in 4th, and how about Ben Watson inside the top 5 now? Hill still in 6th, Fitzy still in 7th, Giacomo in 8th, and Tampon in 9th, and then Ryan DeWine rounds out the top 10. Sam Deal, who made that crazy 3-wide dive bomb attempt in turn number 1, is currently in 11th. And unfortunately, you mentioned Takumu Takashi. Unfortunately, she's in 23rd here today, and unfortunately, Reese Michaels is already dead last in points. Is battling for that spot. So tough day for a couple of delays here in the field.
And man, for Takashi, I mean, not to say this derails anything, but given that they've only had one win, 1 top 5, 1 top 10, that's probably not going to change at this rate unless we get some major catastrophe. It's unfortunately safe to say that Takashi might not last too long in the title conversation if they keep having drives like these. Man, that 69 a bit off the line. I mean, he's going for a move on the 27. Does that mean the 27's getting a bit wide? Oh no, and now it's Burnett. The second place driver cannot keep off the wall. The 8, whoa, look out. That 8 car, Taron Parton, is looking low on someone. Oh, he just got around a couple. Someone must have had a problem. Who's that? It's Fitzy. He got around Fitzy. Fitzy must have hit the wall. We didn't see it. Man, that car slowed up a lot, and heck, it allowed the 8 to get by him. Which means now he's up. Yeah, he's up to 7th now. That car he's got the juice no matter where it is, clearly, because, I mean, 2 top 5s so far. He might be looking for a second. He just needs to get around the 2 and the 97. This is just allowing Stout. I mean, it's probably 3 seconds lead by this point, especially with what happened to Burnett. So you got to think, as long as Stout holds it off that wall and doesn't make any more crazy line moves, they're pretty much free to go get their first win. Will be their 3rd top 10 of the season, and their 2nd top 5.
Yeah, right now Tampon still at 11th and all the way up to 7th. That's very impressive. That's basically on average 1 position per lap, and if he keeps on doing that, he might get 3 top 5s, and if he does that, that'll be ultra points management early on in the season, because most likely Jordan Stout will have a bonus point for leading lap and a bonus point for getting the most laps today, and has a really good chance of getting the race win as well. So right now, Tampon would be, I want to say, about 5 points behind, but that's a lot better than where he started in the 11th and would have been about 9 points behind going to, I believe, Dover next time out. See what happens this time. Coming to 3 to go at the line. You don't want to be in second place of what we've seen all race along. But net's going to go wide again. You don't want to be in second.
I just can't tell at this point. I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to figure out is being the leader of the train mean they're trying to pull a bit too wide on those two corners, try and create a different lane, mess people up, and that just causes them to go into the wall? Or is it just not having anyone in front of you to draft really means the car is in, well, technically clean air, but it still means you're going off the wall? But again, Burnett saved it. Abel couldn't. Abel got on, second time Abel gets off the wall, so I don't want to say third time's the charm, but ooh, that's 69 with a move. There you see Ronald Kennington. He doesn't want to fall too far off where he started. Oh, no.
A little bit of contact. These guys are racing like it's a short track out here today. My goodness. Chase Harris now is going to be in the midst, and we have a 3-car battle for the 3rd spot. Meanwhile, Tampon is all over the back bumper of Benny Watson, trying to, and just points manager at this point. I believe he might be still in the 7th position, but Jordan Stout with a 3.5 second lead. Just absolutely gone, and the Truck Series champion might be able to get his first win in just his 3rd ARCA start here today. Lopez has fallen back to the last place position. It's been absolutely chaotic behind him, and here we go, Tampa trying to take the 6th spot away from Benny Watson. Not going to be able to get to in that corner though. I think I do believe Tampa might have a top 5 car, but he only has 2 laps to do it at the line.
I mean, Stout's practically gone at this point. You can see he's a corner ahead, so it's going to look at the 55. Okay, he didn't hit the wall that time. The 2 had a worse jump there, so the 3. And the 8 seems like its best move is here in the... Oh, goodness me. That was a terrible shot for whoever that was. I could not see it.
I believe that was 6, I believe.
Oh, boy. I mean, regardless, Stout's practically got this in the bag. I don't want to blame him. But, and that A car has been trying everything he can to get around Benny Watson. And Watson, at this point, is out of the top 10, so... I mean, out of the top 5, but this would still be his 2nd top 10 of the season, so... Imagine he wants to hold it as best he can, but I think he wanted that top 5, and unfortunately he lost out to Chase Harris, which would be his first top 5 of the season. Yeah, these 4 guys just running the line. Out up to a 5-second lead at this point. That's not what you want to see if you're anyone but Jordan Stout, especially if you're Tanner Parton. Just watching, I mean, at this point, Stout's going to basically have to blow a tire, spin the car. I think that's the only way anyone's going to catch him. Otherwise, we're going to see, what is that, our 2nd straight Ford and 5th victory lane? No, 3rd straight Ford and victory lane. No other manufacturer would have a victory so far this season in the Amsoil ARCA.
Yeah, Ford has the least amount of manufactural support, I guess you can say, with only 5 Fords. But the 30 of Jay Rihanna won at Daytona. Takashi won last week at Oswego Dirt. And right now, Jordan Stout has absolutely put on a clinic here today without any mistake. And then one more lap, he should be able to hang on and make it 3 straight wins for Ford. Burnett is running in 2nd. Kennington, and Abel hauled into the outside wall. Now tampon to the inside of Benny Watson. White flag is out for Jordan Stout, and the Herds will have a good 100.
I mean, we've seen pretty much the story of today has been Jordan Stout leading the chaos behind him. It's going to have to come down to, again, the final, like, what happens on the final corner might determine who takes 2nd and 3rd, because at this point, it's obvious even the leaders, for Jordan Stout, have been able to keep it off the wall. I guess you could say that's been one of the helps for Tanner Parton today, that it doesn't look like he's come anywhere near it, and it's allowed him to get a good run on that front stretch, but yeah, just coming to the end. I mean, is there any doubt at this point?
I don't think there is, as long as Jordan Stout does not hit the wall, and he's not made any mistakes yet all day. I think he will get his first win on the season. A great one from Ronald Kennington still. He started first, fell back, and he's going to get, I believe, his 2nd podium on the season. It's a great one from him, and especially a great one from Chase Hills. So deep in the standings for last year's East champion. Definitely needed this one, and he might get top 4 here today. Poland's not going to get a top 5, but he might get a top 6, trying to do a last-second dive bomb on Benny and Watson for that 6th position. Watson chops him off.
Curb.
And already to the final 2 corners for Jordan Stout. Ford only has 5 cars in the field, but 3 out of the 5 are going to kick off Season 2 with a win. Jordan Stout will win the hoods for a good 100 and will most likely leave here as a point leader going into Dover next week. A little bit of context, side by side is going to be Harris getting that 4th spot, Abel in 5th, Watson and Pullen rounds out the top 7.
Bruno Diacomo managing at least the top 10. You got the 57. Zachary Fitzwater makes a top 10, and in between them is Zane Crawford. Hadn't had a top 10 so far this season, had 2 good runs, but not a top 10. So you can kind of see, unfortunately for Takashi, and I guess Juan Garcia can also be added to this, you know, a couple drivers starting to pull away from this, and, you know, I don't want to say it's a trendsetter, but certainly a race that showed who's got good cars and who've been out driving themselves the past 2 races. So who knows? We don't know what else is going to come these next couple of races, but we may have seen who exactly will be leading the pack in terms of points for the at least remainder of the first half, maybe even the remainder of the season.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I think Pullen is going to make a real good shot at defending his ARCA championship from last year. I think Jordan Stout might be just gaining as much momentum as he can going into the JBL Cup Series next year, all over with a Truck Series title, and he might be a strong contender for the ARCA championship. Fitzy with another top 10, I think he could have a good chance at it. Diacomo with a quiet 1 in 8th, but still, that's his 3rd straight top 10 on the season. Unfortunately, Takashi, Sestry, and Garcia didn't really show up today, but Dewani and Connington did as well. Same with Watson, so in Crawford. So I think we're starting to see a great bunch of drivers work their way up to the front of the standings, and we'll see what happens next week at Dover. And telling out a 4th different track type to kick off the season. Stout wins, Burnett in 2nd. Stout almost had a 5-second lead, but it got shortened to 3.3 seconds. But it didn't matter, he was still gone. Harris in 4th, April in 5th, Watson, Pullen, Diacono, Crawford, and Fitzwater. Garcia did get 11th, so not too bad for him. But we'll see how that affects him in the standings. Same with Dio. Last year he won 3 times and didn't finish inside the top 10, and a strong 1 in 12th, but not exactly what he wanted. Zustrai, I mentioned Zustrai in 7th in points, still gets 13th, Jay Leandro in 14th. Dwani fell back to 15th in the number 35 late. Caleb Rose in 16th, Jack Haas in 17th, Weem in 18th, Angel Gutierrez in 19th, Wyanville in 20th, Reese Michaels, Eleanor Mendoza, Kasumi Takashi, and then unfortunately Lopez rounds out the 24 car field. Everyone finished, no major incidents, but a lot of cars hit the outside wall, and that was expected, especially with the 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts here today. But a crazy one here at Watkins Glen. What's the final thoughts here for the Herr's 100?
I mean, final thoughts. I don't want to say the race went exactly how we thought it was going to go. I mean, I got a prediction right, I guess. I can right off of that, but in the end, it was definitely, you could see who the good race cars are, you could see who not the bad race cars, but just the people who haven't had it these past couple weeks, and the people who maybe got a little lucky with the fact the first 2 races were a bit chaotic, because this is certainly a race where, you know, well, not even a race, just a track where, you know, the best drivers are going to move to the front. It's as simple as that. So, in the end, hard racing, but we got a chaotic one, we got a dominant winner. I mean, I don't want to say what else could you ask for, but then again, it's kind of what we did ask for, just a nice little microcosm of Watkins Glen, and even with 30-mile-per-hour winds, we still got it.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, still a great race here at Watkins Glen, as it always is, and we'll see what happens with the points and the season as a whole, based off of the schedule, with it being Dover next week, the first time ever. and then same with Kansas in 2 weeks time for the first mile and a half. So it's going to get interesting regarding the schedule. And taking a look at the point standings here. The point standings, I was correct, is Jordan Stout leading the point standings by 7 points over Tim Pun and second. Juan Cunnington, he jumps up to +6 and now he's going to be third. Tyler Fitzwater -14. Diacomo -16. Garcia -19. Sestwai -23. And then Watson and Burnett -24. And then it is a tie between Dewani and Crawford rounding out the top 11 -25. Always spread out to the field, but we are definitely seeing some of the class of the field inside the top 5 in points with Stout, Pun, Kennington, Fitzwater, and Diacomo. 4 out of those 5 have top 10s in all 3 races so far. We'll see how Dover shakes out next week for the first time ever in the ARCA Series. You got a double with the East and ARCA there, so that's going to be absolutely amazing. And thanks to Flay for joining me up here in the booth. We'll see if we can get him some more races throughout all the ARCA Series this year and see what happens next year for him. But great for joining us out for getting the race win. And until next week for Dover, for East and ARCA, we'll see you guys and see ya.